Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in to my super chat. Thank you. I can't do this without you. If you enjoy this segment or if you enjoy my live streams, your super chat is extremely important. Thank you so very much for your support, ladies and gentlemen. You allow me to do these live streams. This is big news, a huge development, and basically the lawyers for Sussman, Fusion GPS, and the Clinton campaign and the Democratic Party basically are trying to convince the judge in the case to hide like close to 1,500 pages of documents. Okay? They're saying it's attorney-client privilege. So there are three indictments. Kevin Kleinsmith, the bureau attorney, Igor Danchenko, one of the sources of the Steele dossier, and Kevin Klein and Michael Sussman, the indicted attorney who lied to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, saying that he wasn't being paid by Clinton and he wasn't giving the agency a whole bunch of derogatory nonsense that he fabricated or that he obtained with the help of researchers and a tech executive simply for the purpose of setting up and framing Trump. The whole point is that they wanted to set up and frame Trump. There's nothing, this is not about consulting. It's about setting up and framing Trump. That's the whole thing. You can't say that, you cannot say that you are, you can't say that you are simply providing consulting or legal services when you are actually trying to give the United States government lies about your direct political rival. It would be the equivalent of you going to work and having two coworkers at your work go to your boss and give your boss a dossier about you that your ex-wife or ex-husband created, okay? I mean, that's basically the equivalent. By the way, I have a segment on Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, so that's my first foray into that saga. I'm not sure if I'll do more segments, but it is interesting. And I do explain. Herschel, everyone here, thank you. Jake, David, everyone, Eric, everyone here. Hedy Lamar, hello. Kristen, High Tones, hello. I don't think, I think he might have been reinstated. But see, again, the first indictment was Kevin Kleinsmith. That was an easy indictment. It didn't really lead. It will, I'm sure, almost certainly be used for further indictments. The two big prosecutions are Danchenko and Sussman. Those are the ones that are going to lead to a whole lot more in terms of indictments. There will be more indictments than Durham Probe Special Counsel. I want to read you this, though. Special Counsel John Durham won a round in his fight to obtain records from a research firm tied to the infamous Steele dossier when a judge rejected claims that they're necessarily covered by the attorney-client privilege. So, Washington, D.C. federal judge made the ruling Wednesday after quoting from an email in which Fusion GPS co-founder urged a reporter to do the Alpha Bank secret communication story. So these people were feeding false information to journalists, who, by the way, journalism is really no longer alive in this country. Ed, hello. Lisa, hello. Journalism is really no longer alive in this country. It's about pretty much activism. The best publications are conservative publications, generally, like The Federalist, The Washington Examiner, and maybe center-right publications like Wall Street Journal, you could say. National Review does some good journalism. Very few publications on the left, like every once in a while, when the Washington Post isn't serving as a newsletter for the Democratic Party, every once in a while, you'll get a good story or reporting, but it's just journalism has become, how can we help the Democratic Party and how can we harm Trump? That's what it's about. That's what journalism is about in this day and age. How can we help the Democratic Party and how can we hurt Trump? So they were not talking about, like, nobody is talking about whether the allegations fed to journalists and to government agencies were true or were they legitimate. Was it fair? Was it fair that they were able to do this to Trump? Now, to most wonderful, morally superior liberal Democrats, they do not care. Their mentality is, who cares? It really doesn't matter. That's what their mentality is. It doesn't matter. It's just politics. Whenever they're caught doing something unethical, like literally like spreading lies into the U.S. government to get agencies to investigate their direct political rivals, or you could see what's taking place with Supreme Court justices. Tucker Carlson talked about that tonight. Okay? You can see what's taking place. It's okay to intimidate. See, Democrats enjoy intimidating and bullying their political opponents. Then they complain about Trump being an authoritarian because they say he bullies. He's really a counterpuncher. Sometimes he does. But what he does is respond with overwhelming rhetoric, let's say, to people who go after him. He's not, like, Trump is not really a bully. He's not really a bully. What'll happen is somebody will disparage Trump, and then Trump will perhaps go overboard in the response, and then it'll be turned into, oh my God, did you see what the Orange Monster did? Oh, norms and traditions, oh no. That's what it'll be, you know. That's how they kind of like explain everything. So with Fusion GPS, there's a key witness. So there's a key witness in the trial, okay? The Fusion GPS trial, the Sussman trial, there actually is a witness from Fusion GPS, which, by the way, could easily be used. Like, all the information and the court documents and the testimony and the witnesses, all the testimony that takes place in the Sussman trial can be used for further indictments. So, I mean, we see what took place. Sussman, basically, the indicted attorney says, well, I didn't provide legal services. I wasn't going, because I wasn't trying to meet with James Baker at the Federal Bureau of Investigation because I was being paid by Clinton. Then Clinton says, oh, by the way, we're paying him, and and Fusion GPS and the Clinton campaign and Democrats say this is all attorney-client privilege, completely undermining and like refuting what he was saying, contradicting what he was saying. That's the point. That's the point. You can't claim attorney-client privilege when your clients... No, you can't claim attorney-client privilege when the attorney himself is claiming that he didn't provide legal advice. And if you're the attorney that's indicted and you are... if you're the attorney that's indicted and you're telling the judge that you didn't lie because you were not going on behalf of a client, you really weren't providing any attorney-client privilege, and then your client says, oh, yes, you were actually working on our behalf. See, every time they try to make it difficult for Durham, he has the receipts. So it's like not a good idea to do that. The best thing for the Durham Probe Special Counsel, because this is the thing. The Durham Probe Special Counsel is like inflation last year when I was saying it was going to get much worse. Hit subscribe, by the way, to the Stock Market Crash channel. Okay, I told everyone every day. How many people remember how much I obsessed every single day over the upcoming stock market crash, the fact things are going to get worse, all of these things? Remember, I told everybody. And ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing it, and it's almost surreal to see all of these stocks and indices just crashing. The Dow Jones, NASDAQ, S&P 500, Bitcoin, all of these are crashing. And the 7 to 10, so once it hits 7%, the circuit breakers go off in the stock market, and they stop trading. But I said it's going to get worse. Look, do you understand mashed potato brains? Do you understand there's no end to the madness? Okay? Do you think that this is the worst it's going to get? It's going to get a lot worse. But see, I have prepared myself mentally, and I hope that, if you enjoy my work, that you can prepare yourself mentally and emotionally. It's going to get worse. Okay? There is not a place in this country right now where crime isn't a possibility. Where you being, someone trying to take your possessions or somebody trying to harm you just out in the open, even in midday, there's not a major city in this country where that isn't an issue. It's only going to get worse. Because when you see, the thing with the Democratic Party is the following. They don't believe, like the ideology they talk about, how, systemic injustices and all, they don't believe any of that stuff. They cause these systemic injustices. When they ended economic activity, they exacerbated every systemic injustice there is. You prevented, people were doing well, there was record low unemployment, and then the U.S. labor force, the average age being about 40 years old, suddenly 22 million people were unemployed. Think of the trauma. Think of the stress. Not just the financial consequences. Think of how many people had their lives completely upended. People at restaurants, waiters, waitresses, people working at offices, truck drivers. Think of how many people had their lives upended because journalists who get, by the way, here's the thing with media and journalists and, even owning a YouTube channel, like I do, or 2 YouTube channels, but anybody in media, you still have a job, even if the government says stop working. People at the Washington Post, YouTubers like myself, we're still working. Okay? The 22 million Americans, if the Washington Post and the New York Times and CNN and MSNBC, if they say, oh, you need to stop working right now, we need to end economic activity, the adults in the room are telling us to do so. Okay? Well, where are they going to go if they were laid off? And simply saying, well, there's monetary stimulus and fiscal stimulus and government stimulus, okay, from Congress, but that doesn't, what about the dreams that people had? What about the fact that, the rebuttal is, well, you had to. There's nothing we could have done. No, it was a choice. It was a choice. Thank you, Ralph. It was a choice that that the most apoplectic maniacs among us. John, hello. It was a choice that bureaucrats imposed upon a very willing media, and we could have chose a different course. We could have chosen to do things differently. And when you end economic activity, you then cause all the inflation, all the inflation, the contracting GDP we're seeing, all of these problems. And then when you allow a whole summer of fiery but peaceful, and you focus on one day 2 years ago where, what was it, basically mostly, was it 4 people lost their lives, 3 of whom were supporters of President Trump, okay? But you ignore billions upon billions in property damage every single night. and you have police buildings in flames and all, and CNN, the Washington Post, MSNBC, so, oh, it's peaceful, and Trump is mean. And then they came out with a report on Trump, like the other day, saying he wanted to do something to demonstrators. Well, how do you know this? How do you know this? So any hearsay and gossip about Trump is actual news. When was the last time you heard something that President Obama or mashed potato brains Biden said in private? When did that ever happen? When has that ever happened? When has that ever happened? Have you ever heard the private conversations of a Democrat in a book? Okay, and if you did, it was completely ignored by media. And so the thing is, it's like you have society slowly collapsing, slowly descending into madness. And I see this in Southern California. I see this every night. I see this. If you go out at night to like a supermarket or to Rite Aid, or if you go, you see, I'm telling you, it's Mad Max. It's Mad Max. You do not want to go out at night unless you have to. I mean, it wasn't, Southern California used to be a different, very, very different. And so you see it everywhere. And see, Democrats don't care because they have exactly what they want. They can't admit the economy stinks. They can't admit, society is slowly breaking down. They can't admit that in terms of geopolitics, why doesn't mashed potato brains find a peaceful solution? You have Democrats who are saying we're in an existential battle with you-know-who, the invading country. And it's like, well, in any other geopolitical crisis involving two very important countries, the United States used to be a prominent force of either good or diplomacy. So why isn't there any emphasis on diplomacy? Now, it could be because mashed potato brains would need 5 translators. A translator for the translator of mashed potato brains. Or a translator for the translator of mashed potato brains. Just because nobody knows what he's saying or doing. But there used to be a time when, I mean, even Bill Clinton, oh, finally you're saying something nice about me. Even Bill Clinton, President Obama too. I mean, he had a very good relationship with that country. President Obama came in with a reset. I mean, you had Bill Clinton trying at least he tried. At least he tried to make peace, or at least, engage in some diplomacy between numerous countries. President Obama did that too for a while. But mashed potato brains doesn't seem to want to even think of a solution to this horrible crisis. But is there ever going to be an end? You see these people with little icons I support that country, yay! It's like, well, if you do you want maybe some kind of negotiated settlement to where there can't be all these lives lost and people displaced? Or you just want it to go forever? Okay, you had one big Hollywood celebrity post this absurd, ridiculous meme, proving the left can't meme, of a young person who lost his life, very famous photo, heart-wrenching photo, and right next to the beginning of a human life. Okay. And they say, oh, Republicans care about this, but they don't care about that. And it's like, I had to look up because I was pretty sure that young person, it was tragic photo. I was pretty sure that it was under President Obama's administration. And truth be told, of course it was. In 2015, so you had one Hollywood celebrity. It was Bette Midler. You can go on her Twitter profile and see it. Bette Midler did not realize she's actually posting a meme highlighting one of President Obama's many failed foreign policies. She didn't realize that. They don't realize that almost everything that they complained about Trump, or almost everything they highlighted with laser focus during the Trump administration, was started by President Obama's administration and exacerbated by President Obama. Like, he was funding rebels in that region of the world. And there are numerous examples of President Obama and mashed potato brains Biden not wanting a peaceful solution. I mean, even Bill Clinton did more in terms of diplomacy. Oh my goodness. You're praising me again, H.A. Badman. You've said so many bad things. You've said so many bad things, H.A. Badman. But finally, you're saying something nice. Even Bill Clinton did more in terms of diplomacy. President Trump was the first president to step foot in North Korea. Okay? The first president to step foot in North Korea. He was the first president to step foot in North Korea. Okay, President Moon Jae-in of South Korea stated that Trump deserved the Nobel Peace Prize. He helped negotiate the Abraham Accords. I mean, he did a lot more. He did a lot more. Like, infinitely more. David! Goodness gracious, let me see something here. All right, so hold on. You know what? I'm trying it myself, David. I think it works. I'm going to give myself one. David, I think it works. It works for me, but I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's like you're looking at people that don't really care about political power. That's all they care. Everything, like, for example, immigration is worse. Like, what's taking place is worse under President Mashed Potato Brains. It's actually worse. Like, it is worse. And you see, like, the Correspondents' Dinner, they're so happy. They're so wonderful. Everyone's, like, laughing and they're happy. And it's like, you realize that society is, like, crumbling apart. And then they're upset that the Supreme Court ruled or drafted a decision they might rule on. And it's like, well, you did this to yourselves. Clinton had what really should have happened. Bimmer boy! Yo, bro, I listen all day. I work from home, so just load up your page with more content. Even the stocks. Thank you, Bimmer boy. Thank you. I appreciate that very, very much. Thank you, Bimmer boy. Thank you so very, very much. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, there's a stock market crash channel, and then I know on this channel, Bimmer boy, you're 100% right. On this channel, not many people are interested. On, like, H.A. Goodman, I noticed, like, the market could tank 1,000 points. And I'm like, everybody, it's happening. I told you this. I told you. And everyone's like, One person even wrote boring today, which is hilarious. Like, boring. You know, boring. It's like, no, it's happening. But I do have the stock market crash channel, yeah. But Bimmer boy, thank you so much. Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. To my super chat, thank you. But you look and it's like, well, why is this happening? If this happened under Trump, the media response would be, if it was apoplectic and hysterical prior to Trump, where we had record low unemployment and they were obsessed over him being installed by the Kremlin. So there you go. Thank you so much, John. Thank you. Bimmer Boy, thank you so much to my super chat. Thank you. Could you imagine if the market was tanking and crashing? Look, they say, well, I mean, a really great point was made on my channel on one of the segments when I said that I predicted this. Which I did, unfortunately. I don't want to laugh. I don't want anyone. I don't want the vote blue or no matter who people to lose money. I don't want anyone to lose money, because if you lose money, you can't feed your family, you can't buy clothing, you can't pay rent. I don't want you to lose money. I don't want anyone to lose money. It doesn't even matter about politics, even if they don't like me. But if you look, I think 10% down by May we're getting into crash territory. We're already in crash territory. We're already seeing the crash that I predicted. Now the catalyst, well, I don't know what the catalyst, remember, Bimmer Boy, thank you so much, everyone here. Remember, Elizabeth Warren is not talking about what I'm talking about. A relatively, small, YouTuber, or, decent whatever size, but relatively small in terms of all the, major YouTube channels. Remember, Elizabeth Warren is AOC, Bernie Sanders, definitely not mashed potato brains. He's told, he's given, what to slur his speech about. But nobody, 10% down is not good. 10% down, that's just in May. It ain't getting better. It's getting worse. Okay, it's getting worse. It is going to get worse, not better. Okay, crime isn't going to get better, unfortunately. It's going to get worse. Okay. The homelessness problem is getting worse. Year to date, the NASDAQ is down 22%. And I told everyone this. Year to date, the NASDAQ is down 22%. I said, get out if you are about to retire. And one person today was very nice of that person, said that they saved money because I told them, And Bimber Boy, thank you so very, very much. Exactly, Nano Horizon. It's going to get a lot worse. If it's down, look, could you imagine? See, when the market was up under Trump and he was a tyrant and authoritarian. The market was up. We had record low unemployment, but he was installed by the Kremlin. So they had the Mueller probe. I mean, this is like the most vapid form of politics. Like, you could see the propaganda. It's just they want to attain political power. And they don't have like a second string. Schumer and Pelosi and mashed potato brains, they're like entering their 80s or 90s. Schumer, I think, is the youngest one. But they don't have, AOC is not Nancy Pelosi. The establishment says, wow, what a progressive. But AOC is not really a left-leaning politician. She would be Ronald Reagan to the Green Party. If you had a Green Party person look at AOC, she's basically like, she would be Newt Gingrich. And the reason she would be Newt Gingrich is because she doesn't really believe in any of the policies she claims. She wouldn't even vote for Medicare for all. I mean, it's like, how can you not, if you're on the left, how can you not see the racket? You're afraid of losing friends? I get it. I guess I didn't care because, you know what? I support President Trump or Ron DeSantis would be amazing. Because I want a record low record low unemployment, and I want GDP growth. I want economic growth. They keep talking about systemic and economic injustices, and it's like, well, do you want the economy to grow? See, if you actually speak like a human being, like just like a normal, average human being, they don't speak that language. They speak the language of propaganda and euphemisms and lofty, idealistic social theories that, when criticized or scrutinized, actually point to Democrats causing all of these problems. Go to any place in the country that has the highest crime rate and the highest poverty rate and the lowest economic output, and you will see Democrats. You will see Democratic politicians most of the time. Not always, not every single time, but most of the time. Then they will complain about systemic injustices. Bimmer boy! I appreciate it. I'll stop interrupting you, but you're cool, bro. And my sis is going to come party with you, and I pronounced Beamer like the car. Beamer boy! Thank you so very much. I'm having trouble reading tonight. I'll stop interrupting you. That's cool. My sis. Beamer boy, thank you so very, very much. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Beamer boy, I think that you might be into cryptocurrencies or digital currencies or Bitcoin. I will say this to anyone who is into Bitcoin. I think it's going to tank also. Beamer boy, I think Bitcoin is going to tank to 10,000. I think that cryptocurrencies are going to tank to well, I don't look. There's Bitcoin, and then there's everything else, Ethereum, but there's everything else. Bitcoin's going to follow the market down. Beamer boy, thank you so very, very much. Thank you very much. Very kind of you. I appreciate that. I can't do this without the super chat, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much. I do think, ladies and gentlemen, and Beamer boy, thank you, everybody here. To my super chat, thank you. I think that nice. Let me see. I can't look at the Beamer boy. Thank you. I can't. Let's see if I can look. So you're a musician. Thank you, Beamer boy. Thank you. If I could go on your page here, I will look. Thank you so very much, Beamer boy. Thank you. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. David, my bank and I made an arrangement. At least they won't let my card be drained by some. Thank you. Yes, that's good. That's good. You have to watch out at the gas station too. By the way, it's like a felony, or you're sent to The Hague if you put one of those stickers. Don't do that. Lying dog face pony soldier. Thank you. Thank you. David, Beamer boy, thank you. Anything that is derogatory towards President Mashed Potato Brains is seen as a crime against humanity. Do you understand? It's a crime against humanity. So they're like sending people to. They're sending people. You actually, can I tell you something? In California, you would probably get in more trouble putting one of those stickers at the gas station, the ones that say I did this, than doing something horrendous. I don't even want to take the joke any further, but I'm kind of joking, but not really. Exactly, Nuna, thank you. Beamer boy, thank you. David, thank you. Greatly appreciated. Beamer boy, thank you. David, thank you. Lying dog face pony soldier, thank you. I mean, it's going to get worse. And it's like they keep on talking about systemic injustices as things get worse. I mean, you might as well just take someone's car, crash it into a tree, and then say, gosh, you need better driving skills as you get out of the totaled car. They're doing this in real time, by the way. It's like everything's collapsing in real time as they pontificate. Do you think maybe you should stop preaching You think maybe you shouldn't give all of these sermons? 23% down, Bitcoin. So Beamer Boy, David, Lying Dog Face Pony Soldier. Bitcoin is 23% down, and this is just, look. This is the beginning of May 2022. Now you ask yourself, David, Beamer Boy, everybody here, you ask yourself, Lying Dog Face Pony Soldier, you ask yourself, Eric, everyone here, David, do you think that things will get better? Do you think things are going to get better or worse? You think that Bitcoin and equities and all, you think it's going to get better? You think that crime or homelessness or wealth inequality or geopolitical problems, you think it's going to get better or worse? Right? Skullcram, exactly. Exactly. It's going to get worse. Wait, Nano Horizon, exactly. John, exactly. And the thing is, it's like if you still have a profit or your principal, if you are lucky enough to have your principal, because had people gone out of the market, had people gone out of the market when I said in October, they would be fine now. It's only it went up a little bit and then phew, and it's just like it's only going to get worse. Especially there's a lot of young people, and I say young, like 20s, 30s, who have a lot of money in cryptocurrencies. Herschel Ballard! It seems they are crashing the world to reset. You know, it seems, and I agree with one thing, they don't seem to care, Herschel. They think that this is not a big deal. But see, again, Jerome Powell, let's say you have like a Democratic politician or Herschel Ballard, Jerome Powell, who is basically a Democratic politician, who was telling us in the most bizarre, absurd manner that, well, there was no inflation. We didn't have to worry about inflation. Okay? This was last year. Everyone who had a brain was worrying about inflation. Everyone who had a brain, a functioning brain cell, knew. Anyone who had a functioning brain cell knew that inflation would get worse. You've pumped $10 trillion into the economy. What did you expect? But what did they expect? I don't get that. Like they just thought, like, oh, no big deal. It's like, how could you not see that? I remember in the early days of when I remember the early days of like the economy ending. I was like, this can't be real. This cannot be real. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And it's like if the market tanks, let's say you have a too big to fail moment. Let's say you have a too big to fail moment, and you have banks that go under. Or no, I'm sorry, not banks that go under, but banks that actually need a bailout, or they're about to go under. Okay? Because they've given so much money in loans to hedge funds. And hedge funds make wrong bets. And things collapse. Because it doesn't, like, the Archegos hedge fund lost $20 billion in wealth. $20 billion, and that cost $10 billion or $12 billion in the banks that gave them the loans, the margin. Okay? That was a small hedge fund. You remember the GameStop with the short squeeze? Well, they had to be bailed out. Was it Melvin Capital, I think? They had to be bailed out with 2.5 or 2.7 billion. Okay? And so but these were like small collapses that nobody really talked about, but those are like the canaries in the coal mine. Like, once this thing tanks, because the thing that's really saving, you're not seeing, I say thank goodness, I don't want these things to collapse. But once you get like the 10-point drop, 7-point drop in a day, which would be 3,000 points down, or 3,500 points down, or 4,000 or 5,000 points down in the Dow, okay? Or 1,000 points down, or 1,200 points down, or 1,500 points down in the NASDAQ. Then you're going to get hedge funds, very small hedge funds, that could collapse because they'll get margin calls. And when they get margin calls, it'll be for like $1 billion to $20 billion margin calls. Because the Archegos hedge fund had a $20 billion margin call, meaning they had to come up with $20 billion because they didn't have enough capital, and the money that they borrowed reached a certain point where they needed to actually pump in more cash so that their positions would still remain in their account. And so that's what, when that type of, people think of that as a crash, right? People think of that as a crash, not so much like they think of this as a correction, but it ain't going back up. We're going into a recession with rising interest rates, so it ain't going back up. In October, when I wrote in the Federalist that this thing's going to tank, and Democrats are sending us into a stock market crash, like, I didn't know exactly when it would happen. And like right after I wrote that, the market went up a bit, and I'm like, this is not gonna last. And people much wealthier, smarter than me about the stock market, like Jeremy Grantham, was talking about a bubble for a while. Michael Burry, who predicted 2008, said the whole thing's gonna collapse. They were actually talking about a bubble before the $10 trillion. So imagine. Michael Burry was saying that the greatest speculative bubble of all time by times 2. What? Are you serious? The greatest speculative bubble of all time times 2. And I mean, like with the AMC, Beamer Boy, thank you again. Everyone here, thank you so much. To my super chat, thank you. You look at the GameStop, that hedge fund had to be bailed out by other hedge funds. The Archegos hedge fund had to be bailed out. No, they went under. They weren't bailed out. Then you have pretty... Anchorage Capital was one hedge fund recently that's decided not to actually do business anymore. Like, they just decided that there was no reason to actually have a hedge fund in this environment because it was too chaotic. The volatility index. Look at the volatility index. Okay, hold on. Volatility index. The VIX. The volatility index is above 30, and that's no good. It's very bad. It hit 36, interestingly enough. It hit 60 in March of 2 years ago. Okay? Oh, sorry, you can't see this. The volatility index, okay, 6 hours ago, volatility index rises 22%. Now, volatility works, or I guess it can predict one of two scenarios. Okay, what a fantastic article. This is a really great, oh, look, it's a picture. Thank you. Oh, that's good. This is a fantastic thing. I wanted to read something, and I get a picture. Okay. Troubled Barclays here. Note. So sees 124 million in mystery outflows, meaning they're getting out. Everybody's getting out of anything to do with the market or any risky investment. But let's see if you have a volatility index here. Volatility index spikes. Wall Street's fear gauge climbed to 31.2. So if you look at the volatility index, it's going back up. It reached a high of 31. And, you know, it was at 35. It was at 15 in August and November of last year. No, October, November, it was at 21. Now it's at 33. And it'll probably it could get to 70, okay? It could get to 70. What's the max here? The max it got to was, no, hold on a second, 79 in 2008. Wow. It's at 31 now. We're almost halfway there, unfortunately, in terms of volatility. Wow. Herschel Ballard! Look at the Dow to historic GDP ratio. Exactly. It's still overvalued, right? And we have contracting GDP. Herschel Ballard, thank you, Herschel. We have contracting GDP. We have contracting GDP as interest rates go up. We have contracting GDP. Our economy is shrinking while inflation skyrockets and and interest rates are increased. This is everything. You might as well be running uphill with a 100-pound backpack in a rainstorm. I mean, you might as well be, it's like what I was saying. Like, see, again, it doesn't matter because, like, if it was the end of the world, Democrats would still say, Ralph, thank you. Very kind of you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. I'm glad that, my thoughts helped. It's like you could, if you were with a Democrat, a wonderful morally superior Democratic person, wonderful liberal, wonderful, highly educated liberal. Halley's Comet could veer off directly into Earth's path. We could be 30 seconds away from Halley's Comet obliterating the planet. As lightning strikes a car you're in with a wonderful, morally superior liberal Democrat, while at the same time a tarantula crawls up your leg. And while you're looking at your Robinhood account and all your stocks go to zero, and then for some reason you're trading commodities and you actually owe $1 million, not just zero, and there's a lunar eclipse, you don't know where you're going, you hit a tree, and squirrels come in your car and start biting off your ear, and a big falcon flies near your car and finds some way to poop on you, even though you're in your car. And then you would turn, and the wonderful Democrat would say, at least Trump is not tweeting. At least Trump is not tweeting. Do you understand? They don't care. They don't even care. This is actually really good for them. They're like really happy. So what? It's a correction. No big deal. Sheba doesn't care. Yes. It's like they wouldn't even care. Sharks in the water, exactly. They're happy that Trump isn't there. But then the thing is, they don't understand that DeSantis, and I love Trump, okay? But DeSantis is actually better, like a better politician even. He's a greater political obstacle than President Trump is. Because in some ways, he could be actually more conservative than President Trump. I mean, they don't get it. But then when DeSantis, if they had to really go up against DeSantis, he would be the authoritarian, and oh my God. He would be the authoritarian, and But look at this volatility index. Okay. May 12th is... May 12th is the next inflation reading. Wow, NASDAQ index sees worst monthly performance since 2008. Who told you, baby? I told everybody. The reason I bring that is not because I'm like an egotistical person, although you might disagree. But the reason I bring that up is because you're watching this channel late at night for a reason, and I appreciate your support. I appreciate why you're watching this channel. So, NASDAQ sees worst monthly performance. Wow. Wow. The NASDAQ Composite posted its worst monthly performance since 2008. 13.3% losses in April. And see, this is the thing. A correction, the volatility could go up or down. It could lead to a bull market or a bear market. Do you think it's going to lead to a bull market? I mean, really? Scott Works, hello. Do you think it's going to lead to a bull market? Do you think that, do you think investors on Wall Street, if I was an investor, if I was running a hedge fund, which I would never run because I wouldn't know how to run a hedge fund. But if I had all of these complex trades and derivatives and, I would be making a profit on, well, they make a lot of profit on just trading. But if I was up, or even if I was down 2%, if you're down 5% on the year and you stopped trading, you would be better off if you were running this massive hedge fund. You'd be better off. I can't imagine any of these hedge funds actually being up. I can't imagine any of these hedge funds being up. I mean, you probably have mutual funds down at least 20% on average, or 15% at this point right now. 10 to 20% at this point right now. So it's I would say even if you're down 10%, I don't know. I'm not saying for any hedge fund I'm not telling anybody to do anything other than it's going to get a lot worse. Saying it's going to get a lot worse. It's going to get a lot worse. But I also think, I think that Bitcoin will follow it down. Maybe in the future. See, the thing is, Bitcoin, I watched some of the people who like helped start the whole Bitcoin movement. I listened to them, and they're really, really passionate, very intelligent. The thing is, you have governments and you have people like, billionaires, not Elon Musk, but other billionaires who don't like Bitcoin. They want to like actually obliterate it. And it is tied to the stock market. The stock market is going to tank far worse than, like, if a mutual fund is down 10%, it'll be down 30, 40% by the end of the year. This is not, if you're down at all, if you're a hedge fund or mutual fund, you will be down a lot more because it's going to get a lot worse. A correction implies that at this moment, things are too expensive or too overvalued, and eventually, with corporate earnings going up next quarter or the quarter after, you'll see, your stocks will go up. That's why, like, on the financial channels, are like, especially like the young financial, like if they're young, and I respect, like, this is purely respect, and they're like, yeah, buy the dip, and yeah, you know what I do? I just go dollar cost average, buy all the way down, and it's like, well, but if it's going to continue to drop and collapse, you're not going to do yourself any favors by buying the dip. Because this is like, there's going to be a 2008 moment where some banks are going to probably want bailouts because everything else is going to pull them down. Hedge funds, I think, are going to be a huge problem. Huge problem. I think that hedge funds are going to be an absolute nightmare. That's what I think they're going to be a nightmare. So, but you have Biden, mashed potato brains, sending billions upon billions to other countries. I love Gerald Celente. Gregory Mannarino is fantastic. I watch them. I listen to, I watch a lot of people. They're really wonderful. Both of them are wonderful. And they make a good point. We're sending billions upon billions upon billions of dollars to a geopolitical crisis with no end in sight. So what happens, God forbid, if China invades Taiwan? And what happens, God forbid, if and when the market crashes a lot worse? Michael invests. Actually, he changed the name of his channel. He's very, very good too. Michael Cowan. He's very good. He has a segment out right now. Final urgent critical message. So 4 hours ago. 25,000 views. He's very, very good. Michael Cowan is very good. Gerald Celente, Michael Cowan, Gregory Mannarino. There was a financial channel I was watching today that's very, very good channel too. Very good channel. Let's see. I'll get there in 1 sec. Oh, Lord. Oh, okay. Tom Nash is fantastic. He's very good. Very good. Tom Nash is very, very, very good. Tom Nash is very good. Who else? There was one channel I was watching that was excellent also. Of course, now that I want to find it, and I'm on a live stream live, I can't find it. Lord. Serious? Hold on. Come on, man. Oh, come on, man. Oh, come on, man. Oh, come on, man. Come on, cornflakes. Cornflakes, man, come on. I can't find it, but there was a good one. But ladies and gentlemen, be here tomorrow Tomorrow at around 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., I'll have a very important upload. So definitely cook your own burgers, make buns, yes. Your own potatoes, yes. I agree with that, Eric. I agree with that. Cooking your own burgers, yes. Be here tomorrow at 11 to 12. We'll do 8 more minutes. I'll end before midnight, my time. But, homemade fries. Oh, my goodness. Now everybody's making me hungry. Oh, my goodness. You know what? I love Thai food. Who loves Thai food? I love Thai food. Let's see. Obviously, like, I love, Italian food, Mexican food, all food, too much food. I need to lose a little weight, but Christ Light, hello. Love Thai food. And Vietnamese food. Love Vietnamese food and Thai food. What else? What have I been eating lately? That's fantastic. Let's see. Yeah. Love Chinese food. Love Indian food. Love Indian food. Love Indian food. Saag paneer. Love saag paneer. Let's see. Really quickly. Let's see. If you look at the NASDAQ, let's see, the 5-year. Here's where I think people will lose a lot of money. If you look at where corporate profits were at the end of 2019. Just look at where corporate profits were at the end of 2019. Okay? And I'm not talking about profits of like the top 10 technology companies, because that drives up the entire stock market. Like something like 40% of the S&P 500 is just banks and tech companies. I'm talking about, you can look and it's the corporate profits have gone up, but not so far up to where they can't go back to 2019 levels. And I should have had it up, because it'll take me a long time and I won't be able to find it in the next couple of minutes. But go look at corporate profits in aggregate. Just U.S. corporate profits in 2019, and then compare that to the corporate profits of today. And yes, they've gone up, but the point is, if they go down, if they hit where profits are in aggregate, where they were in the beginning of 2020, then you're looking at a huge, not just crash, a crash, but it'll be cataclysmic, which I believe it will be. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very, very much. Beamer Boy, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Everybody here, thank you. Herschel, David, everyone here, thank you so much. To my super chat, thank you. I can't do this without you, everybody. And I will try to do a live stream tomorrow evening. I will try to. So, Herschel, everyone here, thank you. To my super chat, thank you. Beamer Boy, thank you so very much. Eric, David, everyone here, thanks so much. And I will see you tomorrow, everyone. Expect a live stream, expect an upload tomorrow from 12 to 1. So check the channel from 12 to 1.